So Mercury in Aquarius, what does this placement mean? Mercury is the planet that shows our communication style and the way that we think. It rules the mind, and it is also the god of commerce and trade. So in Greek mythology, Mercury was the god of transportation as well and commerce. But anyway, when it is in the sign Aquarius, which is about individuality, this shows people that have a unique way of thinking. They have their own opinions when it comes to different subjects, and they usually are strongly opinionated people. Furthermore, Aquarius is the sign that represents groups and it represents the collective. So when it comes to communication, Mercury and Aquarius people feel most comfortable speaking within a group context. And in general, the way that they think and express their opinion is under this awareness of being one voice out of a group of many different humans. They kind of think of themselves and their opinion as being one of many. So they have a humble, down-to-earth perspective, but also they believe that the voice of everybody has a lot of importance, and that their opinion should be taken seriously as well, because they are one of many voices, And so in general, Aquarius energy almost has like voting type energy, like voting at a poll, where there's a survey and there's lots of different responses and opinions. Well, Aquarius always has this subconscious perception like that, where their vote matters or their opinion matters. So these can be strongly opinionated people. Now also, some astrologers consider Mercury to be exalted in Aquarius. And the reason why is because Aquarius rules technology and complexity. So having Mercury in Aquarius shows somebody that has a good grasp on technical subjects, and they can be intelligent and good with numbers, or good with tech or complicated thought processes. So that's the last thing about Mercury in Aquarius. Now here are a few celebrities with this placement. Rihanna has this placement. Steve Jobs, Justin Bieber, Harry Styles, Martin Luther King, Jennifer Aniston, Nicolas Sarkozy, Cristiano Ronaldo, Paris Hilton, Oprah Winfrey, Jim Carrey, Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, The Weeknd, Marilyn Manson, Ashton Kutcher, Bob Marley, and an honorable mention, Jesus Christ apparently had this placement. His chart is available on astrotheme.com. And then also Michael Jordan had this placement. So now let's talk about what this placement means through each of the houses. First house, Mercury in Aquarius, definitely shows that you are strongly opinionated. And most importantly, what characterizes this placement is the fact that you have a tendency to really just think for yourself and form your own opinions, because the first house is about the self. And when Aquarius is somewhere in the first house, a lot of times this means that you're in your own world in some way. You're in your own realm of thinking, or, there's something unique about your personality, because the first house is the self. And so having part of the sign Aquarius there is showing there's something that sets you apart. And you kind of think bigger than the norm. You kind of think outside of the box. If we consider the box the average way of thinking, or the acceptable norms of society. So anyways, first house Mercury just shows you're capable of thinking outside of the box, and your words can be quite sharp because you have an intelligent tongue, and it's like when you have an opinion, you might project it quite raw or unfiltered, or it can just be sharp-tongued, So that's Mercury and Aquarius in the first house. Second house, Mercury in Aquarius, will show quite intelligent people, because the second house is about resources and how to use resources. And Aquarius is all about complex topics, and it's all about intelligence. So these people are very clever with ways to make money. These make great business people and sales people, especially because using whole signs, Capricorn is the sign that has the second house in Aquarius. And Capricorns are very enterprising and ambitious. They can be visionaries, geniuses, And generally speaking, how I would characterize Mercury in Aquarius in the second house is it shows somebody that is very smart. They know how to get the outcomes that they want using logic and numbers and stuff like that. Because for the most part, the second house represents material things and it represents resources. And one of the most basic things that teachers teach children when they try to teach them math is they teach them to count objects. And that is really the basis of math. And they teach kids how to add objects, like how to add 2 apples to 3 more apples if 3 apples fell out of the tree, stuff like that. If 3 additional apples fell out of the tree, how many apples are there if there was already 2? So anyways, that resources and objects are the basis for math and like complex thinking. So having your Mercury placement in the sign of material things and like objects and like very practical thinking, and in the combination of this really technical sign, just makes you like good at A plus B reasoning and like coming to a logical conclusion, and also makes you good at inventing clever ways to make income or like clever ways to reach a conclusion. Third house Mercury in Aquarius will make you quite sociable, because the third house is the house of communication. Mercury, it rules that house, and it becomes quite chatty when it's in the third house. And Aquarius is the sign that represents the collective, and it represents networking and interconnectedness. It also represents friends. So your communication style will come across as friendly and charming when Mercury is in this placement. And furthermore, the way that you think and the way that your opinions are, and also the way you think of yourself, is as part of a larger collective. And so you have this mind or this way of speaking that wants to participate when Mercury is in Aquarius and in the third house. And this desire to participate with your opinion is what makes you chatty or makes you a good small talker or a good communicator. It's really coming from that sense of wanting to relate to the collective and wanting to participate with your opinion. Also, Mercury in this placement and in this house will show people that are inventive and clever, so they come up with good ideas, and a lot of times their ideas are very forward thinking, and they like to think about the future. Mercury in Aquarius in the fourth house is characterized by somebody being very strategic, because the fourth house is about what is internal, and the sign Aquarius is about logic and common sense, and is also about intelligence and being very technical. It's about technology, the future, and it's all about disruption and change and freedom. Anyway, when Mercury is in the combination of the fourth house and in the 11th house, the 11th sign, which is Aquarius, this is showing somebody that has a lot of complex internal dialogue. So this will manifest as being very strategic, because the fourth house is more introverted, so Mercury makes you more introspective. And the fourth house is also things that people don't necessarily see on the surface. It's usually squared to the ascendant, which is representative of your appearance and your first impression. So the fourth house are things that people don't necessarily see. So people don't see how much intelligent thought goes behind your actions and how much intelligent thought is happening within you privately. And also your Mercury becomes more observant. Your mind becomes more observant and likes to absorb information. You like to process things internally, and generally speaking, you process information as it is absorbed by your mind. And you might have very strong internal opinions that people don't necessarily notice. And also you come to very logical and unbiased conclusions or opinions about other people, or about information in general. Mercury in Aquarius in the fifth house shows that you love to express your opinion as a way to receive validation, and also as a way to participate with others, because Aquarius is about friends, it's about participation, it's about groups. So those that have Mercury in the 5th house, which is about ego and receiving attention and validation, it's also about pleasure. They find pleasure in participating with their opinions. So they love group chats, they love online platforms, they love social media, and generally speaking, their voice for them is a way for their opinions to gain attention. That's how they perceive communication, at least on a subconscious level. And furthermore, when they speak something, they have this desire for it to be of importance or value to other people. So they like to receive validation for their opinions, or express things that will receive validation and support. They also like to bring attention to a cause that they believe in, or towards unrepresented people, because Aquarius is about people that can be in the background. It's about people that can be unrepresented at times, and having Mercury in the 5th house shows that you can be the voice of reason for those people, or the voice of advocacy, because the 5th house commands attention, and so you might bring attention to very important opinions. So it's like you speak unpopular thoughts, but in a very loud manner, or in a energetically loud manner, I should say. So it doesn't have to be physically loud, but what is true of it is that it brings a lot of attention towards a subject. So next we have 6th house Mercury in Aquarius, and this placement of Mercury shows somebody with quite a sharp mind, because the 6th house is about technical things. It's all about being precise, and it's the house of organization and perfectionism and attention to detail. So these people do not make logical mistakes that have Mercury in the 6th house. And having it in Aquarius shows having a mind that's able to use complex forms of reasoning. And so you might be good with technology, you might be good at coding, programming, or just good with computers in general, and how to make them do what you want them to, or how to troubleshoot them. And just generally speaking, 6th house energy will give you this skill with technical matters, and with resolving technical issues. And also you just have this very keen attention to small factors, and it's like your mind does not miss little information. So your mind is like not only logical, but very critical and like perfectionistic. In the 7th house, Mercury in Aquarius can be one of the most intelligent placements, because it shows that you externalize your thought process from yourself. It's like you externalize your opinions from your ego, if that makes any sense. Because the 7th house represents others, and it represents outside factors, because it opposes the 1st house, which is about ourselves. So when you have Mercury here, it's like you think from the perspective of other people. And in Aquarius, it shows that you think in a very technical or logical manner. So your thought process is very personally detached, for one, and you think in a way that is considerate of other perspectives. And also your way of coming to conclusions might be quite indecisive as a result. You just see the truth as a collection of possible truths or possible explanations. And so these can come across as very intelligent people when they speak their thought process, and they're also quite persuasive. And when they come to an opinion, or when they speak their mind, it usually gains the support of other people, because what they speak is like relatable or seems undeniably true, because it's personally detached and it came from a logical perspective. Mercury in Aquarius in the 8th house will show people that can have very unpopular or taboo opinions. Their way of thinking is very different than average, and the 8th house is about taboo or shame. And so these people are brutally logical in their way of thinking, and they are not afraid to speak the unpopular truth or the unpopular opinion. And their way of thinking can be devoid of emotion or devoid of intuition at times, because the 8th house in Aquarius lacks, attention towards people's emotions at times. So again, they can have a sharp tongue. And, in some ways, the 8th house can show very intuitive people. And that's because these individuals ask very great questions. But Aquarius is quite a logical sign as well. So for the most part, it will show people that are not afraid to speak the unpopular truth if evidence points towards it. 9th house, Mercury in Aquarius, will show very opinionated people, because the 9th house is about convictions and Aquarius is about intelligence and technical reasoning. And furthermore, 9th house Mercury in Aquarius will make somebody quite inventive and have great epiphanies or great ideas. They also like to think about technical knowledge, or they like to think about subjects revolving technology or the internet and humanity or society as well. Mercury in Aquarius in the 10th house shows that technology becomes a part of the profession in some way, and perhaps the use of communication technology or media communications becomes important, and the use of networking. Generally speaking, Mercury in Aquarius gives a gift with technology and complex math, or like complex forms of reasoning or similar things like that. And when it's in the 10th house, this becomes part of one's profession or their image. One's career could literally involve speaking about complex topics or speaking about technical topics. In general, though, communication becomes a big part of their success and their position. Mercury in Aquarius in the 11th house is another one of those placements that shows a strongly independent thinker. Also, there is a stronger emphasis on the use of technology and skills revolving technology. Also, these individuals will think of clever ways to make money on the internet, and in general, just clever ways to make additional streams of income passively, because Mercury is clever. It is the trickster in Greek mythology, the trickster god, the god of thieves. And when it's in Aquarius, this shows people that work smarter and not harder. So they will find clever or technological ways to work less and make more, or even just make more on the side of what they do, because the 11th house can show streams of income and entrepreneurship as well, because of that strongly independent nature. And independence, at least in this human experience, starts financially. So that's why Aquarius and 11th house energy will manifest a lot as entrepreneurship, financial self-reliance. And so having Mercury here in the 11th house and in Aquarius shows that you have the mind capable of self-reliance on a financial level. Last but not least, this takes us to the 12th house placement of Mercury in Aquarius. And this placement shows quite a creative thinker. It is one of the most inventive placements of Mercury, and they will have creative ideas that stemmed from a logical train of thought, because Mercury is quite a logical placement. And so when it's in the house of creativity, it shows that logical reasoning becomes the inspiration for their creative works or from their inspirations. So essentially, this could manifest as an artist that is inspired by technical phenomena, or inspired from like mathematics, or inspired from what are those things called that are in line with nature, things such as the golden ratio, stuff like that you find in nature. I think it's like natural mathematics or something, or I don't know what the term is, but essentially this type of placement is showing people like that, like people that started with a logical information or a logical train of thought, and it became the inspiration for great creative work. So they might take the golden ratio and then be inspired to create a painting based off of that. Or for example, like the Greeks did in ancient Greece, they created the Parthenon, and they created some of the basis for the greatest architecture in human history. So again, like, to summarize this placement, it just shows people who are creative thinkers, and they really do think out of the box, more so than all the other Aquarius Mercury placements. And they kind of make connections within their mind as well, because the 12th house shows this ability to be intuitive and make, groundbreaking connections. And all this inspiration really starts from a logical train of thought. So this placement is a combination of very intelligent and also very intuitive and almost psychically gifted in certain ways, because their logical reasoning can lead them to make epiphanies or stuff like that. So that is Aquarius Mercury through each of the houses. That's all I have for you guys today. I'll talk to you sometime soon in another video.